We live in a world where advertising, peer pressure, and social media can make us feel like we need more and more. But today, I want to challenge that mindset. I'm going to show you 9 things you should never buy with your money. Things that promise happiness or success, but actually leave you feeling emptier or worse, drain your financial and emotional resources. Imagine you're walking through life, constantly chasing after these things, only to realize you've been running in circles. Think of it like a race. You start out full of energy, eager to win, but as you chase those fleeting rewards, you're running towards an illusion. The Stoics, ancient philosophers who mastered the art of living a fulfilling life, knew this all too well. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus each warned us about the dangers of focusing too much on external things that promise instant gratification, but ultimately don't lead to lasting happiness. You've probably been there, seeing the latest luxury gadget, a brand new designer item, or even that high-end car everyone's raving about, and feeling that tug to get it. It's tempting to think that these material possessions will make us feel better, more successful, or simply satisfied. But the reality is, these items are like shiny distractions, much like a mirage in the desert. You chase them, and when you finally reach them, they leave you thirsty for something real, something that truly brings contentment. This is why it's so important to make conscious choices about where you place your money. Now think about a time when you made a purchase on impulse, maybe an item that caught your eye while shopping, or something that seemed like the solution to your problem in the moment. Maybe it made you feel good briefly, but once the excitement wore off, you realized it wasn't worth the cost. That's where these 9 things come in. By spending money on things that only provide short-term pleasure or validation, we're essentially feeding into a cycle of fleeting satisfaction and missing out on the deeper joy that comes from investing in what really matters. In today's video, we'll explore these 9 things you should stop buying, because what you choose to invest in has a profound impact on your life. Just like the Stoics taught us, your peace of mind and fulfillment are built from within, not from the accumulation of external possessions or temporary pleasures. By focusing on what truly adds value to your life, such as meaningful experiences, knowledge, and relationships, you'll create a life of true satisfaction and self-mastery. As we dive into each of these 9 things, I want you to ask yourself, is this purchase in line with who I want to become? Take a moment to reflect before making decisions that could steer you away from your long-term happiness. So, let's get into it. Grab a pen and paper, and let's explore the 9 things you should not buy with your money. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be ready to spend smarter and invest in what truly brings you joy and growth. Let's begin. Number 1. Status symbols. Imagine being lost in a desert, desperate for water. You spot a glimmering oasis in the distance and sprint toward it, only to discover it's a mirage. Status symbols, luxury cars, designer handbags, exclusive watches, are no different. They sparkle with the promise of fulfillment and social validation, but once attained, they fail to quench the deeper thirst for meaning and happiness. Instead, they create a fleeting sense of satisfaction, leaving you craving the next shiny object. The danger of chasing status symbols lies in the endless cycle of consumption they foster. Buying one luxury item often leads to the pressure to buy another, keeping up with trends or surpassing peers. This cycle isn't just financially draining, it's emotionally exhausting. The excitement of a new purchase fades quickly, replaced by the nagging feeling that you need something more to maintain your image. Over time, this robs you of financial security, forces you into debt, and leaves you trapped in a hamster wheel of materialism. The constant pursuit erodes self-worth, making you dependent on external validation to feel valuable. Consider John, a young professional eager to project an image of success. After receiving a promotion, he bought a luxury car, convinced it would showcase his achievements. At first, he enjoyed the admiring glances and compliments, but soon he felt compelled to maintain the illusion by upgrading his wardrobe and dining at upscale restaurants. His credit card bills mounted, and the joy he initially felt was replaced by anxiety over mounting debt. The more he spent to impress others, the emptier he felt inside. Eventually, he realized he was chasing a mirage, trading long-term stability and genuine happiness for short-term approval. Stoic philosophy sheds light on this trap. Marcus Aurelius teaches us that external things cannot define our worth. True strength lies in cultivating inner character and embracing values that cannot be bought. By tying your identity to possessions, you give power to the opinions of others and neglect the foundation of a meaningful life: self-respect, growth, and purpose. The pursuit of status symbols blinds you to the intrinsic value of your own character, creating a hollow sense of self that crumbles under pressure. When you spend money on status symbols, you're feeding into a societal illusion that equates worth with wealth. This mindset creates an unhealthy comparison game where your sense of self becomes tied to how you measure up against others. But the truth is, fulfillment doesn't come from the admiration of others. It comes from living authentically, aligning your actions with your values, and focusing on what genuinely enriches your soul. Status symbols might glitter, but they ultimately mask the deeper work you need to do on yourself. Reflect on your spending habits. Are you buying things to project an image, or are you investing in what genuinely matters to you? Take a moment to identify the last status symbol you purchased. Did it bring lasting joy, or was it a fleeting thrill? Redirect your resources toward things that nurture your inner growth, like education, meaningful experiences, or relationships. Free yourself from the trap of chasing mirages and focus on building a life of authenticity and purpose. The world doesn't need a shinier version of you. It needs the real you. Number 2. Expensive trends. Trends are like sandcastles by the shore, appealing and exciting for a brief moment, but destined to fade away. From the latest fashion item to the newest tech gadget, trends often feel like they hold the promise of fulfillment or belonging. You see others around you embracing these trends, and you feel the urge to jump on the bandwagon. However, as enticing as these products or experiences might seem, they come with a hidden danger: their impermanence. What's in today is out tomorrow. Trends are transient, and in their wake, they leave you with clutter, a drained bank account, and a sense of dissatisfaction. The real danger lies in the constant pursuit of trends. When you invest your money in the latest fashionable item or hot product, you're essentially building your happiness on shifting sand. The excitement of purchasing something new quickly fades, and before you know it, that product is outdated or forgotten. In the end, your hard-earned money disappears into a black hole of temporary fads. You end up chasing something that doesn't bring long-term satisfaction or value. Worse, you become trapped in a cycle where the thrill of the next trendy purchase becomes your primary source of gratification. Take the story of Sarah, a young professional who always felt the need to keep up with the latest trends. Her closet was full of designer clothes she barely wore, her phone was upgraded every year to the latest model, and she had shelves of gadgets that quickly lost their appeal. Sarah would buy these items hoping they would bring joy, but it always felt short-lived. She found herself repeating the cycle, purchasing things just to feel a temporary high, and soon she realized how much money she had spent on things she didn't even need. What's worse, she felt disconnected from herself, constantly trying to live up to others' expectations rather than focusing on her own goals and values. In the end, Sarah's possessions weren't a reflection of her true self, but rather a mirage of what others were doing. The Stoics warned against the danger of being consumed by external things. Epictetus, for example, cautioned that we must focus on what is in our control and not allow the whims of fashion, technology, or societal trends to define our lives. To place value in trends is to surrender control over your own desires and ambitions, letting external forces dictate your actions. Instead, the Stoics advised focusing on inner growth and cultivating wisdom, virtues, and integrity. By prioritizing enduring values over fleeting trends, you create a foundation that doesn't crumble when the next shiny object comes along. Moreover, buying into trends is a way of diluting your individuality. By constantly adopting what's popular, you risk losing your sense of self. If every purchase you make is based on what others are doing, rather than what you truly need or want, you become a reflection of societal pressures rather than your authentic self. Trends teach us to follow the crowd, often at the expense of personal values and purpose. In this way, your life becomes a series of purchases meant to please others, not a journey shaped by your own dreams and principles. Instead of chasing after trends, choose to invest in what matters. Spend your money on experiences, education, and growth that align with your personal goals and values. Rather than fleeting items, focus on things that will add lasting value to your life. Investments in your well-being, knowledge, and meaningful relationships will always outweigh the temporary joy of following trends. Pause and reflect on your spending habits. The next time you feel the urge to buy something just because it's trending, ask yourself, does this truly serve my long-term goals? Or is it just another sandcastle that will crumble? Invest in things that enhance your personal growth and well-being. Shift your focus from the fleeting to the meaningful and spend your money on things that last. By doing so, you'll build a life that stands strong, not on shifting sands, but on a foundation of purpose and self-authenticity. Number 3, hollow entertainment. Entertainment should be a source of joy, relaxation, and inspiration. It's meant to bring moments of reprieve, spark creativity, and offer a break from daily stresses. However, some forms of entertainment are fleeting and hollow, like smoke that captivates for a moment and then fades into nothingness. Whether it's the allure of expensive VIP experiences, an endless barrage of streaming subscriptions, or shallow distractions like mindless scrolling through social media, these forms of entertainment often drain your wallet and leave you emotionally unfulfilled. The instant gratification they offer is quickly replaced by a sense of emptiness, as they provide no lasting value or meaningful engagement. The real danger with hollow entertainment lies in how it consumes your time and energy without offering anything substantial in return. It's easy to fall into the trap of binge-watching the latest series or spending excessive amounts of money on experiences that provide momentary enjoyment but fail to feed your spirit or contribute to your growth. Over time, this habit can lead to a sense of wasted hours, money, and potential. You might look back and realize that you spent entire weekends or evenings indulging in entertainment that gave you nothing of real substance. The sense of fulfillment that comes from a night out or watching a movie is short-lived, leaving you with an overwhelming sense that your time could have been spent more wisely. By continually seeking these distractions, you neglect the true passions and goals that are essential to living a fulfilling life. Stoic thinkers such as Seneca warned against allowing trivial things to waste our precious time. He reminds us that time is the most valuable thing a man can spend, and once it's gone, we can never get it back. Focusing too much on hollow entertainment distracts us from the deeper work of cultivating our talents, developing meaningful relationships, and pursuing self-improvement. Instead of igniting the flames of our passions, we end up feeding the embers of temporary distractions that provide no lasting warmth. Hollow entertainment often serves as a form of escapism, covering up deeper feelings of dissatisfaction, boredom, or lack of purpose. Many people reach for entertainment not because they genuinely want it, but because it offers a way to numb or avoid confronting their inner struggles. It's easy to binge-watch an entire season of a show or spend hours on social media to escape the discomfort of having to address personal issues or feelings of discontent. However, this temporary relief comes at a steep cost. Rather than addressing the root causes of unhappiness, this constant cycle of entertainment merely puts off the inevitable. You're not facing the real issues. You're just covering them up with distractions. One example of how hollow entertainment can deplete resources comes from the story of Tom, a viewer who found himself drawn into the trap of excessive entertainment. Tom loved watching the latest movies and TV shows, often paying for premium subscriptions to gain access to exclusive content. He'd binge-watch for hours, night after night, thinking it was a way to relax. But after each session, Tom felt more empty than before. His excitement from watching a new episode would quickly wear off, and he'd find himself constantly searching for the next thing to fill the void. Over time, Tom realized that he was not growing. He was simply consuming. His bank account was lighter, and his time was slipping away with no tangible return. What started as a form of relaxation had become a cycle of consumption that kept him from pursuing any real goals or passions. If Tom had redirected his spending and energy towards activities that truly enriched his life, he could have invested in experiences that nurtured his creativity, growth, and well-being. Rather than spending hours on mindless entertainment, he could have spent time learning a new skill, picking up a hobby, or engaging in meaningful conversations that expanded his knowledge. This could have led to deeper fulfillment, not just in the moment, but in the long run. Rather than fanning the smoke of empty distractions, he could have been nurturing the flames of his potential, those interests and talents that, when cultivated, lead to lasting satisfaction and fulfillment. The key to overcoming this trap is to be mindful of how and where you spend your time and money. Ask yourself, am I investing in experiences that enrich my life and promote growth? Or am I merely distracting myself from the real work of self-improvement and fulfillment? Redirect your resources toward activities that nurture your inner spirit, whether it's through learning, building relationships, or pursuing hobbies that excite and challenge you. Instead of chasing fleeting entertainment, focus on sparking joy and growth that will last long after the entertainment ends. Take a moment to reflect on your entertainment habits. Are they contributing to your growth or merely keeping you in a cycle of distraction? If you find that your entertainment choices are not serving you, consider shifting your focus. Invest in activities that fuel your passions, expand your horizons, and contribute to your personal development. Don't let time slip away chasing smoke. Fan the flames of your potential and create a life that is not just about momentary enjoyment, but about lasting fulfillment and growth. Number 4. Overpriced convenience. Convenience is undeniably tempting, especially in today's fast-paced world where time often feels scarce. The allure of delivery services, pre-packaged meals, and premium subscriptions promising to save you time and effort is strong. These services make life feel easier, offering quick fixes that seem to alleviate the pressure of daily tasks. However, the true cost of convenience goes beyond its price tag. While these shortcuts may seem harmless at first, they come with hidden consequences that can slowly erode your discipline and self-reliance. The more you rely on these conveniences, the more you start losing the very skills that make you self-sufficient. Rather than saving time, you might find yourself sacrificing personal growth, and ultimately, you begin to depend more on external help than your own abilities. The danger of consistently paying for convenience is that it slowly undermines your sense of accomplishment and capability. When you opt for convenience, you rob yourself of the satisfaction that comes from doing things on your own. Tasks like cooking a meal from scratch or managing projects by yourself are not just mundane chores. They are opportunities for growth, learning, and building discipline. If you always take the easier route, you miss the chance to push through challenges, which are essential for cultivating resilience. Over time, this reliance on external solutions for every small task leads to a diminished sense of pride in your own abilities. It's easy to forget the feeling of accomplishment that comes from achieving something through your own effort when you're constantly seeking shortcuts. The Stoics placed great value on the importance of effort, discipline, and facing challenges head-on. Marcus Aurelius, for instance, emphasized that the obstacles we encounter are not burdens, but opportunities to improve ourselves. Each challenge, whether small or large, is a chance to build character and resilience. The Stoics believed that true growth arises not from seeking comfort, but from embracing discomfort and difficulty. By choosing convenience at every turn, you deny yourself these opportunities for growth. Instead of developing patience, resilience, and a sense of mastery over life's demands, you simply rely on an external force to do the hard work for you. This avoids the very struggle that makes you stronger in the long run. Moreover, the financial impact of repeatedly paying for convenience can quietly erode your savings. What might seem like a small expense, a food delivery here, a subscription there, quickly adds up. Each time you indulge in these easy fixes, you're spending more than you realize. It might seem like a minor expense, but these small purchases add up over time, leaving you with less money for more meaningful investments. Whether it's saving for future goals, investing in personal development, or enjoying enriching experiences, the money that you spend on convenience could be better allocated to things that truly align with your long-term values. Over time, these costs can drain your resources, leaving you with little to show for it beyond the fleeting satisfaction of a temporary convenience. Take Linda, a viewer who found herself caught in the cycle of convenience. Linda loved using food delivery apps because it saved her time after long workdays. Initially, it felt like a treat, a small luxury that made life easier. But over time, those occasional deliveries became frequent, and Linda found herself spending more on food than she had anticipated. Her bank account was steadily shrinking, and while she saved time, she began to feel a growing sense of dissatisfaction. The meals were good, but they didn't bring her the same sense of pride as when she cooked a homemade meal. She realized that she wasn't just spending money on food. She was buying a shortcut to something that she could easily do herself. The convenience was costing her not just financially, but also in terms of her own sense of accomplishment and self-reliance. Instead of defaulting to convenience, challenge yourself to embrace the effort that comes with self-sufficiency. Cook your meals, take on your own projects, and handle your responsibilities without always seeking an easier option. By doing so, you not only save money, but you also cultivate a sense of pride in your abilities. The satisfaction that comes from preparing a meal, completing a task, or solving a problem on your own is far more rewarding than any shortcut could offer. You'll build confidence, improve your discipline, and increase your resilience. The process itself becomes the reward, and you'll find that the shortcuts weren't worth the price you paid in the long run. Number 5. Unnecessary luxury upgrades. Unnecessary luxury upgrades are a classic example of gilding the lily, taking something that is already beautiful and adding extra embellishments that are often superfluous and don't really improve the original. A high-end smartphone with features you'll never use, or a luxury car packed with unnecessary add-ons may appear appealing at first, but they rarely provide substantial value beyond the superficial. The initial excitement of owning the newest model can quickly fade once you realize the features that seemed so impressive aren't truly needed in your day-to-day life. These purchases often become examples of too much of a good thing, where the enhancements don't make the product any better, but only serve to drive up the price. The real danger with unnecessary luxury upgrades lies in the illusion of improvement. Manufacturers and marketers often convince us that we need the latest and greatest version of something, suggesting that it will improve our lives in ways that it often doesn't. For example, a new smartphone might come with a faster processor or an additional camera lens, but for many users, these features don't bring a noticeable improvement in their daily experience. In truth, the marginal benefit rarely justifies the steep cost of upgrading. As a result, instead of feeling content, you may end up feeling regretful about the money spent and a sense of dissatisfaction with your current possessions, which leads to a cycle of constant upgrading that never truly satisfies. The Stoics had a very different approach to material goods. They believed in simplicity and contentment, two virtues that allowed them to maintain peace of mind and inner strength. Epictetus, for instance, urged us to focus on what we truly need, not what we are told to desire by external influences. When we are able to appreciate the things we already have, we stop the endless chase for more and cultivate gratitude. Luxury upgrades that offer no real benefit only reinforce the societal pressures to keep acquiring more. By constantly seeking the next upgrade, we lose sight of the beauty in simplicity and the deep satisfaction of enjoying the things we already own. When you're constantly chasing luxury for its own sake, you risk falling into a trap of comparison and dissatisfaction. Every new purchase feels exciting for a while, but it quickly fades into the background as you begin to yearn for the next best thing. This cycle can feel like you're constantly running on a treadmill, never able to reach true satisfaction because the finish line keeps moving further away. This creates a sense of inadequacy, where you always feel like what you have is never enough. The desire for more becomes insatiable, and you may find yourself draining your bank account on things that don't bring true joy or fulfillment. Take James, for example, a viewer who got caught up in the allure of luxury upgrades. James had always been passionate about technology and gadgets, and when the latest smartphone was released, he didn't hesitate to purchase it. The new model came with several new features, like a slightly faster processor and an improved camera system. At first, he was excited about the upgrade and showed it off to friends, convinced that it made his life better. But after a few weeks, he realized that he didn't actually use most of the new features. His old phone still worked perfectly well for his needs, but now he found himself feeling unsatisfied with it and already thinking about what the next upgrade might bring. This left him feeling both financially drained and emotionally unfulfilled. James's story illustrates how luxury upgrades often feed into a cycle of comparison, constantly telling you that you need the latest and greatest to feel good about yourself. But the reality is that this mindset leads to ongoing dissatisfaction, as you are always searching for something better, something more impressive. By focusing on what you truly need and appreciating what you already own, you can break free from this cycle and find greater satisfaction and contentment. Instead of wasting money on unnecessary upgrades that only provide fleeting satisfaction, ask yourself if the item will genuinely add value to your life. Does it enhance your well-being or simply cater to your ego? Prioritize spending on things that will truly enrich your life, like experiences that deepen your relationships, tools that help you grow, or investments in your personal development. Focus on building a life that is not defined by what you own, but by who you are and what you contribute to the world. 6. Impulse purchases. jumping into stormy waters. Impulse purchases are like jumping into a stormy sea without understanding the consequences. In the heat of the moment, the excitement of acquiring something new can cloud your judgment, making everything seem like a good idea. Whether it's a new gadget that promises to improve your life, a trendy item that catches your attention, or a last-minute impulse buy while waiting in line at checkout, the rush of excitement can lead you to act without considering the long-term impact. But just like a sudden storm at sea, the immediate thrill quickly dissipates, leaving you stranded with regret and a heavier financial burden. The danger of impulse purchases lies in their emotional nature. These decisions often arise from fleeting feelings, whether it's a sense of boredom, stress, or the excitement of owning something new. In those moments, we fail to pause and reflect on whether the item truly adds value to our lives or if it's just a temporary distraction. After the initial rush fades, the consequences become clear. We're left with clutter, buyer's remorse, and a sense of dissatisfaction. Small, repeated indulgences eventually add up, quietly draining your finances and leaving you with an overwhelming amount of things you don't need. Stoic philosophy teaches us the power of self-control and the importance of reflection before acting. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." This reminds us that while we can't control the temptation of an impulse buy, we have the power to control how we respond to it. By taking a moment to pause before making a purchase, we exercise discipline and prevent ourselves from being swept away by momentary emotions. A few seconds of reflection can be the difference between acting on a fleeting desire and making a conscious, reasoned decision that aligns with your long-term goals. When we give in to impulse purchases, we forego the opportunity to live intentionally. Instead of acting on fleeting desires, we should ask ourselves, does this purchase serve a purpose in my life? Is it aligned with my values and goals? This simple shift in perspective allows us to stop and consider whether the item will genuinely contribute to our happiness, or if it's just another momentary distraction. By focusing on long-term fulfillment and personal growth, we create a life filled with meaningful purchases that support our well-being, rather than cluttering it with items that hold no lasting value. Take the example of Mirabelle, a viewer who often found herself giving in to impulse purchases while shopping. She would grab the latest fashion items or gadgets that seemed exciting at the moment, but weren't really necessary. In the short term, she felt a quick sense of joy, but as time passed, the thrill wore off, and Mirabelle realized that her home was filled with things she didn't use or need. She found herself regretting the money spent, knowing that the items didn't bring her any true happiness. In the end, they only added to her stress and financial strain. Mirabelle's experience highlights how impulse buying may feel satisfying in the moment, but ultimately leaves you with little to show for it, other than a wallet that's lighter and a sense of emptiness. To break free from the cycle of impulse purchases, it's essential to practice mindfulness and discipline. The next time you're tempted to make an impulsive purchase, pause for a moment and ask yourself whether this item will genuinely add value to your life. Is it something you truly need, or is it just a temporary fix for an emotion you're experiencing? By incorporating this simple habit of reflection into your decision-making process, you can avoid unnecessary spending and start making more intentional choices that support your goals and well-being. Take a step back and consider the impact of your purchases on your life, your finances, and your happiness. Practicing patience can lead to greater satisfaction in the long run. Impulse purchases are the stormy seas of financial decision-making. While the excitement of immediate gratification may seem alluring, it often leads to regret and unnecessary financial strain. By embracing the Stoic wisdom of self-reflection and discipline, you can avoid the pitfalls of impulsive behavior and make more thoughtful decisions. Take control of your choices and focus on what truly adds value to your life, not what fleeting desires dictate in the moment. Exercise patience and mindfulness, and you'll find that your finances, your happiness, and your sense of fulfillment will all improve in the process. Number 7. Excessive subscriptions. Excessive subscriptions are like trying to build a castle with paper. They may look good at first, but they're fragile and short-lived. Subscriptions for streaming services, meal kits, apps, or memberships may seem convenient at first, but if you're not using them regularly, they can quickly become a drain on your finances without offering lasting value. The danger of excessive subscriptions lies in how easy it is to forget about the small recurring charges. You may sign up for a service or app because it offers a free trial or a low monthly fee. And then, over time, the costs start to add up. These recurring payments accumulate quietly, unnoticed, until they've taken a large portion of your budget. Like a castle made of paper, the more subscriptions you pile on, the more fragile your financial foundation becomes, making it harder to prioritize your financial goals. Stoics like Epictetus taught the importance of focusing on what we can control and avoiding distractions. He warned against accumulating external things or commitments that detract from our true purpose. When we're constantly paying for subscriptions we don't fully use, we're investing in distractions rather than meaningful pursuits. By cutting out unnecessary subscriptions, we create more space in our lives for things that bring real value, whether it's developing a new skill or investing in relationships. Just like a paper castle crumbles under pressure, an overload of subscriptions can leave your finances in disarray, making it difficult to invest in things that matter. Instead of drowning in constant payments, simplify your life by evaluating which subscriptions truly serve your needs. Focus on the essential services that provide true value and let go of the rest. Take Jason, a viewer who was overwhelmed by his numerous subscriptions. He had signed up for streaming platforms, apps, and online memberships that seemed interesting at first, but didn't contribute to his long-term happiness. Over time, he realized he was paying for things he never used and decided to cancel several subscriptions. This allowed him to redirect his money toward more meaningful experiences and personal development. Jason's story serves as a reminder of the power of simplicity and the importance of letting go of what no longer serves you. Number 8. Instant gratification. Instant gratification is like eating fruit before it's ripe. What may seem like a quick pleasure often fails to satisfy in the long run. Whether it's splurging on a spontaneous purchase, indulging in unhealthy food, or seeking immediate relief from stress, the desire for instant pleasure can be overwhelming. In the moment, it feels good to satisfy your urges quickly, but over time, you'll realize that the satisfaction is only fleeting. Just like the unripe fruit, you might get a taste, but it won't nourish or satisfy you in a meaningful way. The danger of instant gratification is that it consistently undermines long-term goals and happiness. When you prioritize immediate pleasures over future rewards, you derail the path to lasting fulfillment. For instance, when you buy something you don't need or indulge in unhealthy eating habits for temporary satisfaction, the costs, whether financial, physical, or emotional, often far outweigh the momentary enjoyment. Instead of progressing toward your goals, you're caught in a cycle of quick fixes that offer little in return. This pattern prevents you from developing the patience and self-discipline needed to build a meaningful and fulfilling life. Stoic philosophers valued patience and self-restraint, recognizing that true satisfaction comes from delayed gratification and working toward enduring goals. Seneca warned against pursuing short-term pleasures that only provide temporary relief, urging us to focus on what brings lasting joy and fulfillment. By developing patience and cultivating the ability to delay gratification, we train ourselves to make choices that contribute to our well-being in the long run. The Stoics believed that true happiness lies not in chasing after quick rewards, but in committing to meaningful efforts that lead to deeper, more lasting satisfaction. Indulging in instant gratification is often like picking fruit too early. In the moment, it might seem like a good idea, but the satisfaction it provides is short-lived, and you're left with an empty feeling. This leads to a cycle of seeking the next quick fix, whether it's another impulsive purchase, another unhealthy meal, or another brief escape. Over time, this pattern only compounds dissatisfaction, leaving you constantly yearning for more without ever feeling truly content. When you continually pursue instant gratification, you miss the deeper rewards that come from exercising patience, commitment, and persistence in working toward your true desires. Take Anna, a viewer who struggled with the temptation of instant gratification. Anna would often buy things impulsively, spending money on small items that brought her momentary joy. She'd indulge in fast food or a quick snack to temporarily soothe herself when stressed. But after a while, she noticed that these habits weren't bringing her lasting happiness. Her bank account was drained and her physical health was deteriorating. Eventually, Anna decided to break the cycle. She started saving for experiences that would bring her lasting joy, such as traveling to new places and attending personal development courses. By focusing on long-term goals, Anna found more satisfaction and fulfillment than she had ever experienced from her impulsive habits. Her story illustrates the power of delayed gratification and the profound impact it can have on your overall happiness. When the temptation to act on instant gratification strikes, take a step back and reflect. Ask yourself, is this purchase or indulgence going to contribute to my long-term happiness and well-being? Practicing patience isn't always easy, but it's a powerful tool for aligning your actions with your deeper values and goals. Focus on working toward things that will bring true, lasting satisfaction, whether it's saving for a meaningful experience, investing in your health, or pursuing a long-term passion. When you start prioritizing the bigger picture, you'll find that the fleeting allure of instant gratification begins to lose its hold over you. Instant gratification is an illusion that keeps you from reaching your true potential. Whether it's an impulsive purchase or a quick escape from discomfort, these short-term pleasures rarely lead to lasting happiness. By focusing on delayed gratification and working toward meaningful goals, you can cultivate a life of deeper fulfillment and long-term satisfaction. Next time you face the temptation of instant gratification, pause and reflect on how it aligns with your larger vision. Choose patience, focus on your long-term happiness, and make decisions that truly enrich your life. Conclusion. As we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect on the key message of this video. The things you spend your money on have the power to shape your life, for better or worse. By avoiding unnecessary purchases like status symbols, fleeting trends, hollow entertainment, and overpriced conveniences, you can free yourself from the cycle of temporary satisfaction and focus on what truly matters. The Stoics remind us that contentment doesn't come from external possessions, but from within. As Marcus Aurelius said, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself. When you align your spending with your values and long-term goals, you'll not only save money but also cultivate a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Now it's your turn. Take a step back and evaluate where your money is going. Are your purchases enriching your life or just momentary distractions? Commit to spending on experiences, growth, and relationships that bring lasting joy. Thank you for watching, and if this video resonated with you, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might need to hear this. Don't forget to subscribe for more content that helps you live intentionally and create a life of true value.